on, paper. We got a lot to discuss here. So if it's your first time watching us, keys to victory. We do it every single Thursday, every single time during the football year. So if you want to know a very detailed analysis, this is your place. So here are our keys to victory. My 5 keys to victory, we have talked about a lot of them, right? Like there's been a lot of concern about LSU on the boundary at corner. I'm with you. There should be concern there. There should be, I don't want to say concern, but there is some worry. Like, hey, man, this is the best defense that we probably faced. How does LSU offense, how do they look? That's a question mark. I feel pretty confident in what this LSU offense is going to be able to do this upcoming Saturday. So many different things that we've discussed. Let's run through some of them. Number one. So I was asked earlier in the week, and look, I do not have a bias one way or another, nor do I really care what happens in reference to a coin toss, because on Monday with Carter, I said, listen, I want to get the ball first. I want to go down there and score. People are like, defer to the second half. I don't really care. Like, if you defer to the second half, it doesn't bother me none. Doesn't stop what you need to do. Regardless of what you do, whether you take the ball first, which you did a year ago, if you might remember, you actually had the ball first. You went on 3 and out. You didn't do anything on the drive. You completely did not look good offensively. And I was thinking to myself, oh, man, this is going to be a long night. And I obviously was wrong. LSU would wind up winning. Don't really think that it matters. LSU has to get off to a fast start. It's more important in this game that you get off to a fast start than any other game that you've played. Let me tell you why. Alabama, okay, in their last 3 opponents, Arkansas, here were their drives in the first half. Punt, touchdown in 3 plays. Another touchdown, good for them, in 5 plays. Punt. So of 5 series, they had 2 touchdowns, 3 punts. Not too bad, but in the second half is where they started to stall out. And that specific game, the O-line for Bama started breaking down a little bit. Wasn't good for them. A&M and Tennessee were completely different. Listen to this. Here are the first 5 or 6 drives in the Texas A&M and Tennessee game. Against A&M, Alabama would punt, field goal, touchdown, punt. So in 6 possessions, 4 punts. Against Tennessee, against Tennessee. Punt. So in the first 4 drives, punt, fumble, punt, first 4 drives for them offensively were putrid. Touchdown, interception. Why you need to start off fast. And what do I mean by fast? I am not saying blow the doors off the water. I am not saying that you got to go out in the first quarter, first half, score 28 points. Not where I'm trying to get at. But you go up 10, 14, 17, hell, even if you could get to 20 in the first half, it's a monumental thing. Alabama all year, whether it be Texas, whether it be against A&M, somewhat their best start was against Arkansas, but even that had its flaws. And against Tennessee, they are not a first-half team. Watch it change, though, okay, in this game, because they've had a bye week and 2 weeks to prepare, even though I just don't fully believe that that's going to happen. That is why starting off fast is so crucial. Not just offensively, but defensively. In the game a year ago, Jared Bernard-Converse picked off Bryce Young in the end zone. It literally, quite honestly, to me, set the entire tone for the rest of the game. If you can, and if your defense can hold up. Now, the flip side of that, or the issue that I would say to that problem is that LSU's defense is not better than Texas A&M's. It is not better than Tennessee's. At least it hasn't shown to be. And it might be about the same as Arkansas, maybe, even though Arkansas's front seven has played really well. Can your defense bow up? And it doesn't stop that offensively. You got to start off fast, because if they're scoring early in the first half, you're going to have to keep up with them anyway. You're going to have to go down there and score in every possession. I don't think Alabama is going to come out and Ole Miss you. I don't think it's going to be an every single drive, this team scores, that team scores, this team scores. I don't think that that's going to happen. What I do feel very strongly in, and could be wrong in, though, is that Alabama is not going to come out of the gates throwing everything they have at you. I do think that they attack your boundary corners early. Sage Ryan has got to have the best game that he's ever played. The best game that he's ever played has to come in this game against Alabama, because, look, Milroe might be a lot of things. Missing wide open receivers 8 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10, it's not going to happen. He's not that bad of a quarterback. He is going to hit wide open dudes. You get to 10, 14, 17 points, you get out of the gate, you fire out of the gate early, you got a chance. Because Jayden Daniels is one of the best second-half quarterbacks that we've ever seen here, not named Burrow. He's arguably this best second-half quarterback in the country. He comes out blazing most games in the second half. Ask Arkansas, ask Auburn. Hell, quite honestly, the only game that you could say was suspect would be Florida State. But even LSU's offense in 2019 was held to a game of 23 points total. Like, that can happen. By the way, him and Joe Burrow almost had the same exact stat line, which is even more nuts. It's more nuts. Both had 1 TD and 1 pick. Bama has shown that they're not a good first half team. You got to go in there and take it to them. That's why I had suggested 2 weeks ago. It's why I had suggested this week. Hey, man, why not try to come out of the gates and start throwing punches? Now, it's a 4-quarter game. And Alabama is a really good second half team. You're going to have to play all 4 quarters with your hair on fire. There's no let up at all. At all. But if there's one advantage that we've seen, is that this team does not start off well offensively. Can you do some of the same things and have some of the same success that these other teams have had? Number 2, Alabama is 97th in the country at sustaining drives. However, which is so wild by this, they convert on third down at 43%. The magic number is 3. You are going to need 3 to 4 big stops in this game. Not just talking about you don't let them score, like big stops. Get you a 3 and out here and there. Get you, if there's short field position, bow up, stand tall. But Alabama is one of the worst teams when you make them have to drive the length of the field. They're horrible at it. They're almost dead last in the SEC. They're second to last in the SEC at sustaining drives. What does that mean? I know that you don't like talking about it, and we don't talk about it a lot on this show. Special teams. You're going to have to play a little bit of field position with them. Because if what we've seen by lesser – and look, I still think LSU has talent, a lot of talent along the defensive side of the football. You're going to need to play a little bit of field position with them. If it's 4th and 2, you're at your own 40, you're around the 50, don't even – early in the game, don't even think about it. Punt that baby. Let Jay Bramlett do what he needs to do. Make Jalen Milroe go 80, 85, 75 yards. Make him show you that he can sustain drives because he hasn't done it all year. You have to be able to get them off on third down. They do not. The times that Alabama has scored, most of them have been in a lot of 3-play drives, 4-5-play drives. they're not sustaining shit, okay, along the game. Where they're converting at an astronomical rate is on 3rd and medium, 3rd and 5 or shorter. They are so good statistically at being able to pick up the first down, 3 and 5 and shorter. Those early downs will be crucial. You just can't let them run 3 yards, run 3 yards. Number one, they're going to want to bleed the clock. And number two, they convert at 3rd and 5 better than just almost anybody. They're in the top 10 at doing that. You're number one, I might add. But get off the field. Because the more times that you give Jayden Daniels the opportunity to see the football and get on the field, he's going to win you the game. He's going to win you the football game. You got to give him as many at-bats or many as cracks at it as you can so that he can go down there and give you 7. Remaining on the field is also going to be key in this whole number 2. Okay, Alabama is in the mid-30s. Okay, last week, because they were on a bye week, this changed. Last week, they were in the mid-40s in reference to 3rd down defense. Right now, they're 34th. You can get some. They have not, again, goes back to my first half part. In the first half, they are leaky. Leakier than a Lucy faucet. Stay on the field, get off. That's all I will add. Number 3. Clearly, and I've talked about this, number 3, a lot this week. I've talked about it a lot this week. Clearly, Jayden Daniels is the engine that is going to steer the car to get you a win. How you will clearly need him in this game is it can't be. I really don't think that you can put into words how crucial and how big he is for you in this game. It's his Heisman performance. It's his Heisman moment. Like, I don't want to say, I don't want to try to put all the pressure on him, but it's the truth. Hey, man, at the end of the year, if you want to hoist that trophy, this is it. You had, if you're Jayden, you had so many naysayers last year when you were here at LSU, and you won the West. Like, that's all that you did. You won the West. Some were ungrateful for it. Some didn't like you for reasons that you couldn't even control and will never be able to control. This is his game. Every year that you have lost, okay, and I've talked about this, you're 8-2 in the last 10 years. Every year that you've lost, 17 points or fewer, that's how many points that you generated. Every time that you've played Alabama, really you can go even further than that. You could probably go the last 15 years, but we can't. 9-6, things like that. But I look at this game, they're not holding Jayden Daniels to 17 points. I would be shocked. I would honestly be shocked and give the tip of the cap to this defense, to Nick Saban, to Kevin Steele, saying, hey, man, you locked down the number 1 offense in the country, the best offense that we had seen since 19. You locked them down. Good on you. They're not going to do that. They are not going to do that. The biggest key to victory for me offensively that's going to help him out is himself. In reference to, guys, he ran the ball last year, 18 carries, 95 yards, and a score. He's going to have to do it again. Listen, I know that you want him to take shots down the field. He will. I know that you want him to do certain things. He will. I promise you, he's going to do that. He's also going to have to, I think personally, I'm just going to throw a minimum of 14 carries. He's going to have to run the ball more than he has all year. Because if you're able to, against a really good defense, and they are a really good defense. When you're gaining, even if it's 5, 6, 7 yards, those are crucial yards. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. If you know that language, if you watch any fighting, but protect yourself, slide, get out of bounds, go down. Do not take any unwanted or unnecessary hits. But guys, if he, and I'm talking about actually running, I'm not talking about at the end of the game, you're looking up at the stat sheet and you're like, he had 14 carries, but it didn't mean shit. And like 4 of those are sacks. No, you're going to have to get him on the move. Now, I do expect that Alabama will be really focusing in on that draw play than he was doing a year ago. Some of them were unscripted. Like, I talked to people up at Football Ops, and I think even Jayden will tell you, like, hey, man, some of those I just knew that they were, backing out aggressively, and they're coming after me. They're rushing they're going to try to get me down on the ground, and he'd take off. He 1,000%, he'd just take off. But he's going to have to run the football. And regardless of what you believe, he's too valuable of a weapon, right? He's too valuable of a weapon for you to try to limit him and staying in the pocket only. Let me give an example. You literally, in your game plan a year ago, was for him to only sit into the pocket against Florida State. That was your game plan. You wanted him to throw into an 8-man coverage. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I found this, and this is not my stat, just throwing it out here. This is from PFF. Jayden Daniels saw an average of people in coverage against Florida State, 7.6 guys in coverage. So almost 8 dudes in coverage every single time he threw the football. You got to let him take off with his legs. If you're Joe Sloan, and I'm sure that Sloan has whispered this in his ear, hey, man, listen, if they give you a crease, like in these type of games, you got to take off. We literally saw him do that a year ago, right? We saw him do it at such it's not even a good or great level. He was elite running the football a year ago in this game. He's going to have to do it again. And if you look up at the end of this, and he's thrown for 280, he's got 95 yards on 18 carries like he did a year ago, you're going to win. You're going to win. And you could win convincingly. Yards are at a premium. First downs are at a premium. You could not run the ball against Florida State. And a lot of people say, well, Logan Diggs wasn't here. And you're right with that. You are 1,000% right with that. He is always going to be too valuable of a dude. Now, I think he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson personally at this stage of his career, but he is Lamar Jackson with a better throwing motion and better accuracy. He is. Like, dude, guys, you do realize that this young man, I don't know if he's going to run the 40. I would tell him not to if it was me, but he has at LSU. He's done it in other places. Guys, you're talking about a kid that's a 4.4 level speed. You got to let him take off. You got to let him get some design stuff in here. I'm telling you, I don't think Alabama, okay, let me say this. I do think early that they try to limit him running the football. Like, I really believe that Alabama's going to. So, in that, I do believe that Saban's going to say, fuck it. No. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure that you are not, going to run all over us. And that is going to give you one-on-one matchups on the outside. What nobody in their mama is talking about, Alabama has got a boundary corner that's hurt, and the Arnold kid. And people can say whatever they want. But if I'm Jayden, I'm looking at number 11, giving him a little wink. Like, if you see that Arnold, I'm going to test him early. I'm going to test him deep early. I just don't know if I foresee, because Saban came out this week, right? Saban came out this week in his press conference, and he's like, he killed us a year ago with his legs. I didn't like that. So what does Saban normally do? Now, I don't think he's playing chess with that. I don't think he wants Jayden running all over his ass. I really don't. I think he's going to send some pressure early. Okay? He's going to send the heat. I just don't see them backing out into coverage. But mark this down, write this down if you have a calendar or a piece of paper next to you. I hear a little birdie has whispered in my ear. Birdie came all the way from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Do not be surprised if you see a lot of the same stuff that Florida State ran. Do not be surprised if you see a lot of the same stuff defensively Florida State tried to implement and had success with. They're going to do it. They're going to send dudes from the outside, and Jayden's going to have to read hot early. If I'm hearing some of the same stuff, I know that they are. And trust me, I've been telling people. I ain't keeping that shit. I ain't keeping that to myself. All right. Number 4, and now I'll get to your comments. I see the comments are piling in here. I got you. Gerard, man. Gerard, I'm bookmarking everything you say, dude. All right. Number 4. This is going to sound wild. Stay with me. You want to talk about defense? Let's talk defense. This is going to sound wild. I would do the same game plan if I'm LSU defensively that I think that Bama's going to do to you. I know that you have freshmen and Sage Ryan at the boundary. I know it. What I'm going to say is going to sound absolutely insane. I don't know if you try to bring the heat on Milroe, because there have been times this year that his indecision has gotten his ass in trouble. Bring some heat. See if you can get home and get him down. Send Harold Perkins some early, more than you maybe would have. I'm not trying. When I say that, when you send dudes, you got to play man-to-man on the outside. And I don't like that. I don't like that. But the way that you're going to have to do it is you're going to have to get exotic. You're going to have to run some amoeba packages. What is amoeba? Well, at least when I played, you have a lot of dudes on the line of scrimmage. You have no idea, okay, where the pressure is coming from or if dudes are backing out. LSU ran it effectively a lot last year, confused this Alabama offensive line, and they've gotten worse. Like that O-line has gotten worse. You got to show them some shit that they have not seen. Which technically, I guess I can bring 4 and 5 together because it's going to be a lot of the same. But I got another one for number 5. I'm saving it for last. The best gift for last. You got to show them that, look, show Milroe just some crazy shit. He does not know if he's going to have to be hot on the strong side, weak side, in the double A gap. I'm telling you, man, I would send pressure all night long through both A-gaps if I'm LSU. At least test it early. At least test it early. Show Harold Perkins, blitz both dudes in the middle, let Burns come down, play in the middle, put Perk out in coverage, send some exotic shit. Be so exotic at times on third down, more than the Tiger King. Fuck it. If you're Matt House, be the Tiger King. Go Joe Exotic. Milroe has shown when he is faced with things that he has not seen in the film room or prepared for, it has backfired on him. Why teams A&M, why teams Arkansas, why teams Tennessee got away from a lot of the things that Tennessee is the poster child for this. Tennessee in the first half ran some exotic shit in the first half defensively, confused Jalen Milroe. They went punt, fumble, punt. First 4 drives, they couldn't do dog manure, all right? Because they were doing some exotic shit. Then when they got up a couple scores, they started playing a little off coverage. Jalen Milroe in 3 plays hits a tutty down the field to Isaiah Bond. I'm pretty sure it was Isaiah Bond, if I remember correctly. Isaiah Bond. In T-Town, I might add. To do that, to get after Milroe, which you're going to have to do. Like, guys, it's a non-negotiable. It is a non-negotiable. When you do that, your front seven's got to be big. Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson, Braden Swinson, all of you. Savion Jones, Harold Park, all of you. You got to play big because you got to get to Milroe and force him outside the pocket as quickly as possible. All right, number 5. And the last one. Alabama's defense is 21st in the country in rush defense. Let me say that again. Alabama is 21st in the country in rush defense. I have heard this take from everybody all week. This LSU offense has not seen a defense this good. Okay? Here's the take that you should have. And everything else, if you hear everything else can be minute if this happens. I hear you that LSU's offense has not seen anybody as good as Alabama's defense. That's the take that you've had all week. This Alabama front seven has not seen an O-line this good. Even Texas. We have seen as the season has gone on, Texas O-line has not played well. They got pushed around by Houston. They got pushed around against Oklahoma. Hell, at times, Alabama, you pushed them around. This is the best O-line that Bama will see all year, even in Tuscaloosa, even in Atlanta, because I think your O-line is better than Georgia's. 66, 72, 69, 70, and 50, and even 53 if he's got to come in. You will not get the praise for this, but here's the truth. If we win, if LSU wins, it is on the shoulders of this O-line. Because if you're able to run the football with Diggs, Jayden, Bama is going to back out. If you can be the more physical team, be more man than them. Let's get down to business to defeat the Hans. If you know the song, that is Mulan. And the song title is Be a Man. Beat that ass all night. Pause. Actually, no pause. Take that shit to them. I keep hearing, oh, this D-line. Bullshit. You can push it on them. You can run that rock on their ass. I've seen Tennessee do it. I've seen A&M do it. I've seen Texas do it. Take it to them. Because when you do and they back out, Jayden Daniels is going to say, nighty-night, bitch. This game falls on the hands of 66, 72, 69, 70, and 50. If you do what you think if you do what I think you're going to do, I think LSU wins 38-35. That is my score prediction. I'm going to remain at 35, even though I don't know if they can get there. I am worried about what you have at the boundary. Very worried. But I think if you get to 38, you're going to win it. I'm not scared of Bama. This is not the team of the past. Have they gotten better defensively? Yeah. A lot of that, okay, has to do with how long they want to hold on to the football. This team a year ago was still a top 15 defense. They're number 17 now. Statistically speaking, at this point last year, you were a better defense going into this game a year ago than you were in this one. Oh, and that's, by the way, after Tennessee whipped your ass. You can do it, man. You can do it. What does this mean if you win? For me, when you do win this game, I'm just going to stay positive and say when you win it, there's a tide turning, puns intended. I would believe, me personally, I am going to be to the place where I know the divisions are not here anymore. But that curse that Saban loomed over Baton Rouge for so long is no more. Now, I know that you're tied with them. Okay? I know that you're tied with them in wins. 19, you took it. Last year, they took it. And in the two worst years of LSU football, they took it. You come to a place and you come to a time where if you're 3-2 against Bama in the last 5 years, I don't give two shits what anybody tells you. LSU is more on the pedestal than they are in the SEC. It's a pedestal jumper. The ranks of who you are in this league would go Georgia, it would go LSU. Go take what is fucking yours. It's always should have been yours. I hear that they want revenge or whatever the frick they want to say. Oh, y'all beat us last year. Saban's going to want revenge. He's got blood vessels popping out of his ass. I don't give a shit what that depends where an asshole got revenge or anyway. Vienna gumbo eating ass anyway. It's over with. I am to the point where personally, I'm to the place where, like, let's go. Square up. I cannot be more ready than you are. To the players I'm talking to, I can, like, for you Louisiana kids, for you Louisiana players, do you understand what this means? I don't think I don't think that people understand the magnitude of what happens when you win. Excuse me for just a second. Got to get a tissue. Sorry, I hate trying to blow the nose during a show. But had something in the nostrils. Let's go, man. Let's go. I look, that depends where an asshole. I don't know. It's our time. Let's go take it. Oh. To the Louisiana players. When you win, you will start taking the state back. One win does not do it for you. You go 5 years and say that you have the lead and wins over Bama, over Saban, it's yours. It's yours. Go seize it. Go take it. I need 66. I need 50. I guess he's number 7. I don't know why I keep calling him 66, but I need the 2 dudes in the interior. I need Charles Turner. You push them around like you did a year ago, you're going to win. And Logan Diggs is going to feast. I feel a lot like going into this. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not saying I'm getting 19 feels because I'm trying to compare the game, right? Like I'm trying to compare the games. If we're just comparing games, take the natty out of it. I feel the same exact way, okay, to some extent that I felt like that I did in 19. It was more magnitude in 19 because you hadn't done it. You hadn't beaten them. You got to go on the road to, this team could play for a national title. It's different. I get that. What I'm saying is from an X's and O's standpoint, I feel the same. And look, I came out on a show and got obliterated for this. This is when we were still doing shows and before we took back over and started doing 800 of them. I said that I worried for Stingley. I said that, I think that this wide receiver core, and I think Devonta Smith's going to go off. And he did. My take that week was I think Devonta Smith was going to eat. He did. We'll see. All right. I have talked a whole damn hour. I do want to mention a couple things about Brian Kelly. The recruiting update can't wait because it was going to be about, some dudes that if you can lock them down for Florida, that can't wait until Monday or Tuesday because it still remains the same. I will say this about recruiting. If you beat Bama and you're coming home against Florida, which will be a sellout crowd, because it will be a sellout. If you beat Bama this week and you got Florida coming into town, it's going to be sellout. It is going to be absolutely rocking in Death Valley. Guys, you're about to make a little bit of a push. You're going to make a little bit of a push. So, it is what it is. All right. I do need